Previously on McCully Customs. Steve drops his bike off to the McCully Brothers.
I bought a 2006 Dyna LowRider. I rode it home and then pulled it to bits, pulled everything off it. I took the bars off, I bought new bars, I got new pipes, then I had a 200 put on the back end. And then I looked around and everybody else has done exactly the same thing with their Harleys. And I'm riding around thinking, I want something different. I heard about McCully Brothers and did a bit of research, and I thought, I'm gonna give these guys a go.
He knows what he wants to keep on the bike, what he wants to change.
It's more than likely a 17
That's a 17, that stands to change through 17 soft tail.
Yep.
So I'm allowed 2 months to have this, if you can do it in 2 months. Get it knocked over.
And then heads to Sturgis.
I leave now.
Steve and his mates organize their own ride to Sturgis every 2 years. They hire Harleys from Eagle Rider. This year, they'll be riding 6 days solid, from Seattle through Montana to Sturgis. No matter how many times you've been to Sturgis, it's still mind-blowing to see so many Harleys in one spot.
Every major manufacturer of aftermarket parts, plus Harley themselves, plus Victory, soon to be Indian, and there'll be others. Everybody's there, because everybody knows that's the place to go.
Matt and Danny start designing their McCully Custom.
Me and Matt went over it, we had a good look at it, and thought, all right, what can we do with this? It's a Dyna style bike. Not that many people do dramatic things to these bikes. They pretty much, they'll bling them up, paint job, bit of parts here and there. But seeing it, I thought, we've got to do something different.
We've got to make this thing look tough. Bling this thing up so it looks like one mean lowrider.
We went through a few concepts, started sketching. Probably had sort of 3 different sketches sort of going, and then we sort of finalised on one, put some finishing touches on it and thought, yeah, all right, now that is a concept.
That looks sick. Yeah, he's going to love that.
Steve gives the all clear on the design.
G'day Steve, how you going?
Got your email?
Yeah, what do you think?
Fantastic. If you can get it like that, mate, I'll be stoked.
And the boys get down to work. Coming up in this show, it's a stalemate on the front guard.
To me, it looked like something you'd stick on the front of a dirt bike.
You know what it is? You've never done anything like this. You've always done the heavy guards.
I haven't.
No, you haven't. One of us had to give. Both designs would have worked.
The tins go to the paint shop.
The shiny black showing through the chrome we're about to paint on. It's just like a cellophane almost over a light, like a candy. So, which then gives you that shiny black through it.
And the rest of the build nearly meets the deadline.
Tried firing the bike up. There's no spark. I'm thinking, what is going on?
Once the front end was on, we thought, okay, now it's time to get to this front guard, the last piece left.
I knew exactly what the I wanted.
It's staying like that. Matt had an idea in his head of what he thought the front guard should look like. Now, his idea to me wasn't happening. The thing is, you always say, nah, until I do it, and then you go, it's all right, doesn't it? You can't see what I'm saying.
It's the other way around, mate. That was already on. There's a full guard.
That's right. You kept saying trim it, and I for once, I listened. And I did, and I'm not happy.
Well, I don't give a mate. That's why it's staying. Don't worry about the front end. I'm talking about the overall tin work. It's got to be short.
I pictured Bulldog look at the front. Who's going to be doing this? You or Matt?
This front guard is the final piece of fabrication for this bike. The importance of matching the overall flow and feel is crucial, and enough to cause a standoff.
Got to do my worse than what you've done anyway.
I had Matt ring me, and then I had Dan ring me, and I didn't know what the was going on. They were in the middle of a punch-on about this front end and the front guard.
Yeah, well,
when it comes to that front guard, I think the bike probably sat there for a week stagnant. Probably nothing was touched on that bike. And it was simply because I thought, he wants this, I want something completely different. And I thought, well, I'm not fucking touching it if it's not going my way.
Said it from the day one when we did it, it's been like that for a week and it's still
Let's get your ass in the gear then and tin it up. It'll look fine.
No, I'm not going to tin it up because I'm not happy with how it looks.
I want to change that guard, man. Tell me.
Well, I will be.
No, you won't.
Oh, yeah.
That's stone.
It was too dainty, it was too soft for the bike. It needed something a bit heavier on it. To me, it looked like something you'd stick on the front of a dirt bike.
You know what it is? You've never done anything like this. You've always done the heavy guards.
I haven't.
No, you haven't. One of us had to give. Both designs would have worked. I think to make us both happy, whether we believe it or not, we both come to a compromise.
I don't look at it as a compromise. No. It went down my way.
If you want that big look, you might as well stick that on the front, mate.
Here we go, here comes the comedian.
Yeah. Okay. That looks a little front, Dan. That's a nice big fat one to match that one you've got.
That Matt got a little bit of his way. Good majority of it was my way. But it's good to have. Me and Matt, we go head to head occasionally. Throws a bit of excitement into your day.
You still got big brother syndrome.
That all sorted, and it's back to business.
I had to get onto the swing arm on the bike. I tell you that thing, it was a f***ing headache.
In the design stage, they mentioned that the swing arm was going to be different, one of a kind, and it was going to look great. I was hoping that they were right.
Starting off with that swing arm, I had to basically take all the dimensions from the Dyna itself, the swing arm, the shock section in it. Also, we wanted the bike to sit a little bit lower, so I had to take that into account on the mounting of my shocks. Once that was done, we got the steel laser cut, then it came to moulding the steel into shape. Now that's probably the most critical part because you need the accuracy. I went down to my mate Pete's factory and we used his 100-ton press to slowly manipulate into the shape that we needed. After the swinger, we've got the final profile that we need. From then on there, it's a lot of clean back work before the other layers of plate to create a 3D effect go on. The polishing side of it, you probably got to go through 4 to 5 different processes of different grades to try and clean it all back. I probably spent as much time polishing it as I did from day one measuring it right up to the stage of having a finished part, then polishing was that time again. It's different, no one does this. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to go that way about it. Me and Matt had spoke about machining it, or I thought, well, anyone can machine it. To make it by hand is a different thing. So that's why I went down that path.
I personally think the swing arm on this bike is a work of art. Danny did a fantastic job on it. I even actually told him I was proud of him. I don't often tell him that, even though I do think it a lot. I don't pump his tyres up too much because... We've got the bike basically finished to mock-up stage. We've got a couple more bits and pieces to machine up, but nothing we can't do while the bike's disassembled. We've got the horn cover machined up. That'll be mounted up there somewhere. That's something we have to take apart, send off to the chromers. The front grille area, we'll tidy that up a bit, send that off to the painters, get the caps chromed, chrome caps for the handlebars, they'll have to be chromed. We've got the battery boxes, electrical boxes, which are chromed. We're going to get those de-chromed and painted to go on with the rest of the bike. Axle covers, give this a little bit of a tidy up, the swing arm when it's off, so we can send that off to get chromed. Got the air cleaner made, a new ignition cover. Yeah, we're gonna machine up an aluminium strip to go around there to match in with the theme of everything else we've machined up. That'll be painted, but we'll get our strip chromed with some stainless bolts put in it. I'm still debating whether or not to change this headlight. I might try and get a more rounded style headlight. Even though there's no particular theme on this bike, I think it's sort of got a bit of an aviator look to it with all our exposed bolt heads. I think the headlight which I'm looking at, it's rounded, it sort of resembles an aircraft engine, like a jet engine. It's got that little, sort of swoop to it. The front guard, it's undercoated, but that was just temporary, so we get a visual. That's still going to be sent off, prepped, ready for paint. We've got our temporary guard spaces in there. We've got some chrome ones ready to go on. Bracket, we have to get that ready chromed. Yeah, so we're pretty ready to start pulling down. We might actually start ripping that down today, I think. So we're going to start getting some things sent off to the painters and the chromers.
It's all hands on deck as this bike gets stripped down for the last time. Next time we see Steve's lowrider, it'll be the real deal. With the swing arm at the chromers, it's time to meet up with the boys who'll be painting this bike.
We'd already told the boys about our paint idea, and we had Brad. He looked after it. He took it on A1.
Met the boys from McCully Customs, Danny and Matt. Good blokes. So they had a vision of the tank and the guards all looking the same with a brushed aluminium sort of look. That was the owner's request to make it look old. So we set upon trying to do that.
It's still got to be like an iridescent thing where the grain
shows through.
Pops through.
Yep.
We didn't want it over the top blingy. We just wanted it nice, subtle, classy, but minimal. But what was there had to be special.
Yeah. Blend it there. You'd shadow it there. Blend it down a little bit, sort of in here. Lose that up here. So we still have a slight bit of overspray.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Brad has a firm idea what the boys are after and begins to prep all the parts for painting.
The effect you're getting of a shadow chrome, like the shadow chrome wheels and everything, is the shiny black showing through the chrome we're about to paint on. It's just like a cellophane almost over a light, like a candy. So, which then gives you that shiny black look through it. But we're going to pretty much cover the black. So.
Once all the aluminium look was overlaid, we called Sean from Predator Airbrush in.
You can start now.
Yeah. I just want to get going on this practice piece, so.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put you in now.
Okay, yeah.
So you can do what you like.
Yeah, no worries.
Quickly blow these off.
Sean is a professional airbrush artist, and it's no coincidence that he's ended up on this job.
Come up with a few different references just so we can sort of get the texture right. So we'll just experiment. We've got the sponge ready to go. That's it, man. So, for example, the bottom half of the tank, I thought you'd come up with this. So you're going to do that with the spongy effect? That's what I was thinking, yeah. Haven't tried it before, it's pretty experimental, so I thought we'd just do it on a test panel and see what it looks like.
We're having a bit of difficulty there for a little while, and we ended up using a sponge and getting the texture we needed.
Nice,
you know what I mean, like
too.
that, and then just blow over it again. Yeah. See what that looks like.
Danny from McCully he had sort of a really tight rein on us, and he knew what he wanted. So between Danny and Sean, they come up with the sponging effect, but I think with what we had in the end was a really good result.
It took some hours, but I'll tell you, I wasn't leaving until we got it right.
Now that everybody's happy with testing, it's time to let Sean get stuck into his paint job.
That's it. Any up there?
If anything, wait till it dries right up, just so it's sort of more like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you can still see the silver behind it, so I'll start bringing it down.
I think Danny was pretty happy in the end with what he wanted. He got his vision. I'm sure he's pretty happy with it.
Without saying this bike was a theme bike, we sort of did envision some sort of theme in our head. We wanted an old school, say World War II bomber, you know, with the old rivet look, the sheet metal look, the old school name on the tank.
I think it needs to be at around about that height. A bit higher, yep. That's the way.
Putting the owner's nickname on this bike was never discussed. Let's hope he likes it.
They told me what they had in mind for the paint job, but I couldn't picture it. But when it come back from paint, the black into the silver, into the raw metal, it was awesome. I seriously wish the bike was mine at that stage. I'm not a big fan of the Dyna, but when that come back from paint, I would buy that bike.
We called Con from CKT up to take care of the seat for us. Me and Matt got ready before he got there. We panned the seat in fiberglass, and Con was to take it away, foam it, and put the leather on for us.
Con is considered one of the leaders in custom leather seat building and has done numerous projects with the boys in the past.
When he came, he was pretty stoked with the bike. He kept going on about the swing up. You know, he loved the swing up. Oh, it's different, you know, he loved that swing up.
How do you bend this up? Just with an oxy?
Press and oxy.
Awesome.
One thing that we do different than most other people, all our seats fit in snug and perfectly moulded to our tins. A lot of people have just say a seat panel just gets slapped on the back. You can see the lines, it just hangs over and whatever, but we like ours tight, following the tank, in line with the rear guards, so it just looks like it's meant to be.
I made it this way, bolted in here so I could drop it down and get that sort of drop seat effect.
It's got a cool look to it.
Probably want a little bit of embossed stuff going on, and maybe a logo, maybe even stitched in. What do you think?
Do you carve? I think better carve it out. You get a nicer look, and I can go more into detail too.
I really wanted an aged leather look. I didn't really want a cut out thing. There's a lot of them, they do all those, you know, they carve all the leather carving and all that. I just wanted something cool and something plain.
We got the seat back. The colour was probably a little bit different than what we first initially thought we were going to get, but I must say, once it was on the bike, it really hit the nail on the head.
He's fantastic at his job, so if you ever want a seat done, Con is the bloke. Apart from being fantastic at what he does, he's an absolute pisser. He's a funny bloke. The tins, the bars, they're back from paint, everything's back from the chromers. Time to start throwing this bike together. Now the wiring, what a headache.
I'm over it now, I'm tired. Too many late nights.
Matt had this idea in his head that we've got to have this bike done by midnight.
When's this have to be done by? Tonight.
Midnight.
Yeah, right.
Midnight. We've got to the end of today,
The clock's ticking.
So we'll go on like cut cats to get this thing done, braided lines, everything. The bike was still sitting there half done and we're thinking, shit, are we going to get this done?
I actually had a deadline by 8:30 the following morning, but I had to let Danny believe the deadline was midnight, otherwise he would just slack off.
I'd arranged to pick the bike up at 8:30 on this Sunday morning, so Matt assured me everything was running like clockwork. It was all good.
On the front we've installed some LED indicators, just nice and hidden, instead of big, ugly, bulky ones. Had the Reaper there, he was in and out, moving back and forth, letting us in, getting out, getting in, getting out. If you ever want your bike detailed, I'm telling you, this bloke loves his job. Calling the Reaper, he's so passionate what he does.
Oh, I'm just going to clean it as they go over, you know, every time they do a bit, give it a clean and...
Free up,
Yeah, if they're on this side, I'm on the other side. I was here, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago, and...
No, it was only about 2 weeks ago, mate.
Oh,
it was longer than that, mate. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks back anyway, but look, I put an engine brightener over the motor and, you know, just brightens the casings up and helps darken the fleets in there and stuff, but it was not the brand I normally use and it went a bit sticky. I'll try and get all that off and then just put the other engine brightener that I've been using on.
Yeah, we had the bike kept thrown together. I had Nigel giving his hand doing the hard lines. It ended up working well. One thing went to another. It was stressful, but you know, he just rolled. Today we finished bolting up the swing arm. The wheels are on. All the wiring taken care of. Tins, got most of the tins on. Hoses are all connected. We're just about to top up the fluids, put the exhaust on and fire up.
We went over schedule. We were there longer than midnight. We're all set to start the bike. And typical, the one thing that f***s over, the battery's flat.
It's now 4 in the morning, and this is not the sound the boys wanted to hear.
Battery hasn't got the kick, mate.
Sounds pretty dead, doesn't it?
Tried firing the bike up. There's no spark. I'm thinking, what is going on? It's a battery. Go and grab the jumper.
No, just give it another kick from it.
Go.
That's the sound the boys wanted to hear.
Finally got the bike kicked over.
It's been a long haul, but to hear that engine bubbling is a huge relief for the boys.
Me and Matt, we both took it for a squirt. Everything was great with it. We knew in a couple of hours those roller doors would be coming open and that bike would be riding out.
Having designed and built so many bikes, its first run is always an exciting but nervous ride.
It feels cool.
Good.
Yeah. No, the air ride feels great. Suspension, even the front, you know, nice and just perfect. It's got that nice pitbull sort of stance, aggressive feel. No, he's gonna be wrapped with this for sure. So it was a hairy experience. You know, the time just got away from us, and lucky I had that extra 8 hours up my sleeve. That's all I can say. Anyway, 8:30 the next morning, you hear the bikes pulling in.
I got a lift to the factory on the Sunday morning with a mate of mine who's got this hot rod, and he got it custom made and had a lot to do with it. And I always looked at that car and I thought, that is a one-off car. There's not many, you'll never see that car anywhere. And that's kind of what I wanted with this bike. And I started the project with a 2006 Dyna LowRider, and I couldn't wait that morning to see what my bike was going to look like.
All right, now's the time we're raring. We're going to show this thing off. So I get on, start it up, roller door goes up, roll it out. I saw Steve's face, smile ear to ear. His mates were giving him the thumbs up, and it was happy people.
When that roller door went up, couldn't believe it. I was looking at it thinking, and most of the guys couldn't believe it either. I had a few of the boys there for a ride, and they're just, basically, there was stunned silence, a lot of them looking at it going, Jesus, is that the same bike?
While overseas, Steve had tried and tested a lot of bikes, but to hop on his own lowrider for the first time was something special.
I'm sure Matt and Danny were pretty proud of what they did. I was absolutely rapt. It was a great moment when I saw that Dyna come out of that shed.
Thanks, Matty.
You're welcome, mate. I didn't really want Steve taking this bike for a squirt then and there because he didn't have his rego plate or his rego sticker with him. He said, it, I want to take it for a ride, so all right, we'll go for a squirt. We get probably 1.5 k's down the road. Mr. Johnny Hopper.
This was not what the boys had planned for their morning ride. This may not go well for Steve, as the police have a blitz on motorcycle riders.
38 times more chance of coming off.
Yeah, if everyone wants to get out their licences, no.
I had the number plate in my back pocket, and I had the rego label in my back pocket. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'm here, I'm gone.
So as the police officer was going through everybody's licences and details, I've got Steve's number plate on the side trying to jam this thing in between the tyre and the rear guard. He knew what I was trying, but he was a cool cop.
Here's mine. Oh, I thought it was sitting on the...
Yeah, the way it was sitting on the problem is when I try to brake, it keeps skidding. No.
Yeah, no, it would.
Anyway, he was a good cop, bad cop. He was a good cop.
That's it.
5 minutes.
Not even 5 minutes.
Not even.
Steve's got off lucky at this point, but that doesn't mean they're in the clear.
After the cop had finished with us, we headed off up the hill, and finally we got to give it some sticks. And it went unbelievable. Ran fantastic, handled great, and I was so stoked.
When I first seen the picture, I said to Danny, "You're crazy. There's no way." But Danny and Matt, true to form, they did. They turned it out. They got the picture in their head onto paper and into real life.
This ride started out as a 2006 Dyna LowRider. The McCully stripped it back to engine and frame, and have since custom designed and built nearly everything on this bike. Rear guard, swing arm, tank, spoiler, bars, seat, air filter, and all the extras. Everything has the touch of McCully Customs.
At the end of it, I was absolutely wrapped with the bike. For me, putting it outside those roller doors with the customer and his mates and a big grin on the customer's face, that's what does it for me. You know, I think, well, we've created something here that's individual for this person, and they're wrapped, I'm wrapped.
Sunny's from the side here.
Everywhere you pull up, everyone looks at that bike and goes, "What is it?" I know that it's my old 2006 LowRider. That's the same bike. Not actually not the same. It's a McCully Customs.